Thank you so much. Firstly, good afternoon and thank you for your presence. As we can see, our title is Adaptive Assessment in Higher Education. Okay. This is the areas that we will try to cover, almost all. The main purpose of this paper is to actually explore the characteristics of adaptive assessment and how it impacts on student engagement and driving academic success. Okay. So main methodology, we have used PRISMA model, which is one of the most robust model that will explore literature review. Our findings till now is it states that there is a direct association between adaptive assessment and student engagement, success of student engagement. What is the originality? Because most of the papers, they do talk about formative assessment. And I'm quite sure, like when you hear about adaptive, it's like a quite new term for most of our researcher as well. So this is what will be our originality. A quick background to this, today's landscape, especially in UK higher education, is evolving continuously. And thanks to our, even the first presenter we had earlier said that digital is evolving. So due to digital technologies, due to globalized classroom, and most importantly is our diversity, that we are having a diverse student. So because of this nature, traditional one-size assessment, it doesn't fit. And it struggles to actually capture the real picture of student success. And to clear this up, we are trying to study. This is where adaptive assessment comes as a promising pedagogical tool to answer, to bring out all the challenges that traditional assessment is facing. Because adaptive assessment is completely based on tailoring diversity's learners' needs. Okay, it enhances the student engagement and it helps to what we call drive academic success because it's completely personalized based on each individual's or each learner's needs. So this is a quick background. A quick differentiation between what is formative and adaptive. There we go. Formative assessment is given in the parallel way when we teach. And it gives us a generic answer, whereas adaptive, as the name implies, it adapts to the individual needs. So this is why it's called adaptive assessment. Our key research question is how adaptive assessment conceptualized and applied in higher education. What are the key characteristics of adaptive assessment in higher education, and how can institutions actually use adaptive assessment to enhance student engagement and academic performance? So for this, as I mentioned, we use PRISMA model. The main full form of PRISMA model is prepared reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. It is one of the comprehensive framework which guides us researchers to do a robust literature review, which helps us to be more transparent, complete our literature review, and at the same time, remove or avoid the selection biases. So that's why we have used PRISMA model. The process is very simple. We first identify our main research question, then we research, like me and my other authors have researched continuously from 2020 to 2025, mostly from high index journal platforms like Scopus, ERIC, JSTOR, Google Scholars. Then this PRISMA model follows some kind of inclusion and exclusion criteria. So inclusion is completely based on the dates, highly peer-reviewed journals we have used it. We have used also mostly based on education sector, especially in UK. These are the inclusion criteria, whereas exclusion is non-peered one, which doesn't have dates. Older, before 2020s, we have completely excluded. So these are our inclusion and exclusion criteria, which Vincentia will definitely explore later in this presentation. So you can see we have like almost done like initially we done like 149 high peer-reviewed journal articles, and out of that, applying this exclusion and inclusion criteria, we came out to the main 49 articles, which is now helping us to write a paper on it. And now I would like to pass the next presentation to my colleague, Vincentia. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so what did we do next? So this is the breakdown of the Prisma flow chart summary as Lasta briefed you on. So we identified 196 articles, right? And we screened off 54. These records were not directly related to the topics. They were either duplicate, non-peer review articles, and so we removed them. We had 142 left. Then articles we assessed amounted to 85. These were articles that were not relevant to UK higher education, or they didn't have any conceptual focus, which we excluded. And then what was remaining, as she mentioned, ended up at 49 articles. Okay. So what did we do? So I just want to take you through a little bit of elaboration on adaptive assessment. Okay. We found out from literature that adaptive assessment is actually a smart technology assessment that adjusts students' learning for their needs. Okay, it personalizes students, okay, according to their needs. And it provides immediate feedback to boost their improvement, because the more they get feedback, or the quicker they get feedback, the more they get better. They know what they've done right or wrong, and then it gives them another question to polish them up. We also realize that students feel very supported when their assessment reflects their performance, okay? And rather than being like the traditional summative assessment where they have to wait until the end of the module to be assessed or to receive feedback. With that, we realize that, and as you all know in the classroom, we realize that they miss golden opportunities when they should have improved upon their work during the course of the studies or the process of learning, rather than to wait until an end point, sometime to be corrected. And so that affects the students so much. We also realize from literature that adaptive assessment promotes continuous learning, inclusion, diversity, and then pedagogical shifts. It's actually encouraging us to move towards pedagogy. And we learn that it promotes engagement. Not only that, it promotes differentiation, formative assessment, as you heard, and also assessment for learning. This is by various writers like Dupoy et al., Okoye, Manuel Federica, Hale, Ifenta, and Pete Pillan. We all talked about this. We also found out that apart from all these advantages in our finding, we also found out that it also increases motivation and satisfaction, okay, due to career-aligned assessments, okay, and so that gives the students a lot of motivation. It's also, as I mentioned before, it's also encouraging us to shift towards pedagogy so that the students can work hard through the right processes and not be stuck with summative only, so that they can improve. Not only did we find a lot of benefits as documented by several writers, but we also realized that there are some challenges with it. For example, infrastructure. You need technology to do that. Also, tutors need to be trained. They need digital competence. And also, there should be a fair share in assets. There should be equity in assets. Okay. Now we found out quickly that there were further limitations. We found out is that there were no In UK, there's no adaptive assessment what's the level? PG level, at postgraduate level, there is no adaptive assessment. Okay, and because of that, most of the UK, and what we did was to rely on secondary data. Mostly secondary data we relied on. And as you know, most of these come from other countries, not from the UK. Because of that, there is inconsistency of definitions. Okay. Okay, to conclude, we realize that we do need to shift towards pedagogy if you have to do adaptive assessment successfully. We also realize that it leads significantly to engagement, and if it engages students, then it will retain students as well. And then we also realize that we do need it at postgraduate level. And then also we need to encourage institutions to support its success, the success of adaptive assessment at PG level. And so with this, we would like to call for primary UK-based empirical studies within UK on adaptive assessment. Thank you.
Thank you so much.